Good morning and welcome to BOTB HQ in Parsons Green, South West London. My name is Christian Williams, the presenter here at BOTB, where we're here this morning to judge our dream car competition, which ran from the 13th to the 19th of April 2020. Just before I hand over to Alex, once again, a massive congratulations to the winner of the dream car competition last week, Mike Aldridge, winning the absolutely fantastic Volvo XC60 T8. Now, with the situation currently still as it is, all of our judges are going to be joining a video conference call to do exactly as they would as if they were here in the office. So with that being said, let's pass over to Alex Evans from Onside Law, who will oversee the proceedings this morning.
Thanks, Christian. I'm Alex Evans from Onside Law, and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that all the competition data has been sent to the auditors, Wilkins Kennedy. I'm now going to ask the judges to introduce themselves. First up, Matt Cannon.
Good morning, my name's Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and active footballer.
Please now use the secure link provided and share your screen. Once you've done that, please select where you think the ball should be and then justify your position.
We have two players in shot, player in blue on the left, player in red on my right, as I'm looking at the picture. They're both looking up at the ball, I believe. The player in red, I believe, is just looking at the ball. The player in blue, to me, and his body language, he sort of seems to be stopping as he's running up to the ball, and his arms are starting to come up, and I think he's going to play the ball, whether he heads it or whether it's actually going to come down. But I think we've got two clear views from their eyes, and I've looked at where they're looking, and I've cross-referenced the eye lines, and I've put the centre of the ball where my cross is.
Thanks, Matt. Please now click submit, and we'll come back to you for the panel decision at the end. Next up, it's Peter Georgiou.
Good morning, Alex. My name's Peter Georgiou, and I'm a futsal and football referee. Okay, got two players in shot. Both looking at the ball, not really challenging for the ball. They're not close enough to each other for any physical contact. So it's in mid-air, and I believe it's in between the two players. And what I've done is, looking at the guy in red, the way he's got his head slightly tilted upwards, I've taken a line from his eye line there. And also the guy in blue, again, we've got a very good head angle to get an eye line from his head, and where those two lines have intersected, I've gone slightly towards the red player rather than the blue player for my intersections, just for when I put the cross over the area and use the ball as well, I say the ball, the outline, the circle as a ball line indicator. So I've gone slightly off to where my to the actual red player. So yeah, that's where my centre of the ball is.
Thanks, Peter. You can now click submit, and we'll come back to you for the panel decision at the end. Next up, Ari Mendonca.
Hi, good morning. My name is Ari Mendonca. I've been involved in football for over 30 years, first as a player, now as a referee. Well, we have two players on this shot. Player in blue, I felt that he just arrived late. He's looking intensely to the ball, which I think is the ball. He's looking intensely towards this direction. The player in red, I felt he's the one, due to his facial expression, I feel that he's the one who just headed the ball slightly, and he's still looking intensely to the ball. I crossed both eye lines of these two players, and I found my little spot over there.
Thanks, Ari. You can now click submit, and we'll come back to you for the panel decision at the end. Next up, Hugh Gilroy.
Morning, my name's Hugh Gilroy. I'm a referee, mentor, tutor and observer. Yep, so for me, there's two players in shot. Taken eye lines from player in blue and white here, just his one eye. And then the player in red, you can see quite a lot of the white of particularly his left eye, but also his right looks like it's looking up. relatively steeply. Looks like the player in blue's shaping to play the ball, but also the player in red kind of partially moving towards it, maybe to header it or to jump, diving header it. So I think it's kind of in the foreground between both of them. They're both quite concentrated on the ball and both making movements, about to play it, but not quite yet about to play it. So still a little distance away. And where their two eye lines met, I've placed it there.
Thanks, Hugh. Please now click submit and we'll come back to you for the panel decision at the end. Next up, it's Kieran Fitzgibbon.
Hello, my name is Kieran Fitzgibbon. I played football for more than 30 years and now a senior county referee. Okay, we've got two players in shot here, a player in blue and player in red. I think both players have got their eyes firmly fixed on the ball. I think the ball is either just being headed or going to be headed by the player in red, and I believe he may have just headed the ball because the player in blue's body position seems to indicate that he's trying to stop himself going forward and seems to be trying to change direction. I think the player in red has got furrowed brow and tense muscles in his face, and therefore is either, well, I think he's just headed the ball and just come through that, and they headed it in a slightly different direction than maybe where he wanted it to go, so it's going slightly upwards. This has caused the player in blue to stop his running that he was going towards the ball, and therefore now looking at the ball in front of him and trying to judge where the ball is going to go. So taking the eye lines from both players, that's why I placed my cross there.
Great, thanks, Kieran. You can now click submit and we'll come back to you for the panel decision at the end. Next, it's Alan Goma.
Good morning, my name is Alain Goma. I'm an ex-professional footballer, having played for Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle and Fulham. So we got two players in the shots. I think the player in red on the right-hand side is slightly in the background. It looks to me that the player in blue will play the ball. Looking at his body position, it looks like he's going to volley it, but when you look at his left leg, it's quite close to him. So either he's holding a defender, which is coming, we can't see on the left hand side of the screen, or maybe change his mind and he's going to control the ball, maybe with his left knee. Looking at his left leg, his knee is coming up. He's looking slightly up. And as I said, the ball I think is coming, towards him from the right-hand side. Play on the left is looking, slightly up also. Basically cross-referencing both eye lines. I decided the center of the ball was where I put my cross.
Great, thanks, Alan. You can now click submit and we'll come back to you for the panel decision at the end. Judges, please now come to a panel decision. For your information, the white cross is the calculated average of the 6 individual selections.
Okay, morning, guys.
Morning.
So
Morning.
a cluster of 5 of us and one a little bit further lower and to the right. If I draw in some lines from this guy's eyes. Yeah, so I've drawn in the parameters of the two players. Looking at this player, the blue player on the left, I think you got quite a good view of how he's looking. And to my mind, I thought he was looking, obviously I'm slightly the highest, I thought he was looking just sort of directly ahead of him. And likewise, the same with this blue player, I think we got a good view of him and I just thought he was looking pretty much at a 45-degree angle. Kieran, you're the lowest. What's your thoughts on?
Okay, I'll justify my position. I think the player in red is looking at his face where he's got a furrowed brow and his tense muscles in his face. I think he's either just about to head or has just headed the ball. In my opinion, he may well have just headed the ball because the player in blue seems to be changing direction. The way he's running isn't a natural forward running motion. It's almost as though he's trying to change position, anticipating what the player in red is doing. But I thought the ball was closer to the player in red, which is why mine is different from everybody else's.
Okay, but you don't think the player in blue is looking at the ball, or because he seems to be looking, I mean, to my mind, a bit further up?
Well, yeah, there's not a lot in it. I think I thought he was just a little bit flatter. I mean, as you said, looking straight in front of him. I felt that the lower line you've got is more about the line that the player is looking at, but that's my opinion.
Okay.
Not a lot in it, is there?
No.
Well, to be honest, I felt that's exactly the same. I feel that he's looking slightly higher than the position where Kieran puts the cross. Yeah, I don't see, because the play in blue, I feel that he's looking slightly higher, and yeah. If we just try to check without the cross of Shearer, just how he look as well, to see if he changes much.
What, to take Kieran out?
Yeah, just to see where the average goes from there. Yeah, I think he would stay exactly in the middle of our 5 crosses over there. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Of
So that's and then we have. Let's go to Alain. You're the closest to the blue player.
Yeah. No, looking back, so based on the blue player, I think, apart from Kieran, most of us, in agreement, is looking, towards, this direction.
Yeah.
I think, the player in reds, I might have misjudged a bit, and I do agree, center of the ball might be a bit more on the right hand side. So I would agree with the general direction from the player in the blue. But as I said, the player in the reds, I would go from my initial position. I would be happy to go a bit on the right hand side.
Okay. All right. Now, Hugh.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with the average. My view is that the player in red's kind of stooping and the ball's in the foreground. He's stooping to play it or to dive his body towards it, but the player in blue's also shaping to play it. So
Yeah.
I kind of think it's between both of them. In terms of Kieran's, I think it works with the guy in red's eye line, and it could be there if he's stooping to play it. I don't think it works with the player in blue's eyes, just because I think he's looking slightly steeper from how much of the white you can see, and he's his neck's slightly backwards.
Yeah, I mean, my own red cross at the top, I mean, I was the opposite to Kieran. I don't think the player in red was playing it. I had an opposite feel that the player in blue, because he was turning, and as Kieran pointed out, it's in a strange body position. I thought he was sort of almost like coming to stop, leaning back, and was going to then play the ball. And that's where my view came from.
The player in blue is going to play.
Yeah, I thought he was, but that's again my opinion. Peter, you're sort of again smack in the middle of this.
I can see where Kieran's coming from because of the angle of the guy in red, his angle of his head, and looking at the blue player, the peripheral view is more wider, I think, than the guy in red. So I can understand where Kieran has gone, and I think he should stay in there because we have Alan on to the left-hand side, and it does bring it slightly to the right.
Yeah, again, if I take Kieran's out, I mean, it does pull it over quite a lot compared to...
But I think it's justifiable to be there. And I personally thought it was slightly towards the guy in red. I thought it was in between the two players, but I opted to go slightly more towards the red player because of he's frowning and he's more concentrating on the ball, I think, possibly coming towards him. So that's where I think the ball should. But I think Kieran should stay in.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Kieran, if I come back to you, you obviously started. I mean, again, we don't have to keep the average from where it is. We can still pull it over a little bit, i.e. you're not taking Kieran out. But I'm of the view still Kieran's being out of the way does pull it quite a long way over compared to the other 5 judges.
Can you put the magnify on the eye of the red player?
The red player, yeah.
Yeah, but what I felt is that the player in blue is the one who gives us the height. So the direction he works even where Kieran puts his cross, for example. But if his direction is that, so then he starts spreading as far he goes. But we cannot disregard the high line of the player in blue, because exactly where the Kieran had put his cross, I felt that it doesn't match as well with the player in blue, and it should match with both, because both are intensely looking at the ball. So that's why I would say that it should be we should remove the cross of in this occasion the Kieran cross.
Yeah, I mean, if I magnify the blue player's eyes,
Yeah.
again, there's no white above or below. I think, and again,
Yeah, he's a clear line, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be looking straight up, you know, with his forehead in a plane. That's why I've gone higher.
Would be difficult to justify the cross over there when we see clearly his eye line looking higher.
Any other views?
I think, you know, Kieran's cross, you know, would work for me if he was a bit higher, you know, in the same direction from the red player, but slightly higher.
You would go close to where I have my cross, for example. The blue one.
Maybe one option would be to, you know, to move the average, you know, slightly higher. You know, on the same, you know.
Yeah, I think like that it's.
If we keep Kieran in, but you know, we move the cross, you know, slightly higher.
On the same line as the cross is now without Kieran.
You know, what I mean is, you know, keep it vertically the same, but move it slightly higher. Sorry, keep it. Yeah.
I mean, moving a little bit puts us in the line of the 4 with Alain and Kieran sort of on the outskirts. What do people think of that?
Can I ask a question from everybody else? How many people think the player in red is going to play the ball? I think if you believe the player in blue is going to play the ball, then mine shouldn't be in there. And likewise, it should be more near where you all have got yours. I base mine upon the fact that I think the player in red is going to play the ball first.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest concern is that I personally think, regardless of who's playing it, the blue player must be looking at the ball. And I think
he is, but I've got him just lower than where everybody else has got him. That's all. Just a little bit lower, but I can understand why you all think it's a bit higher.
I think it's higher as well. I'm with Matt on this one.
Well, if we're going to do that, then if we take Kieran out and then leave the average moving slightly over to the left and slightly up, what do you think of having that then as the centre of the ball?
That's the average with Kieran out, and then we place the cross at the moment, and it's obviously quite a way to the right of it.
Yeah. But if it would be like that, we should go with the average, isn't it? Because it would be the average of.
Otherwise, yes, we're guessing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. It wouldn't make sense like that.
Okay.
That's if that's okay with Kieran, but I personally think it should be in. That's 1 for Kieran for me.
I'm with Matt, so 1-1.
Yeah. You?
I do think the player in red's going to play it, but I don't think where he's put it works with both the player in red's eye lines. So I would say out and B with Ari in terms of if it was a little bit higher or if it was even on the same line but to the left, I'd be happier. But it's just slightly off for me.
Yeah. Alain?
Yeah, I think the player in blue is going to play it. I think the ball is coming towards him. Not sure if he's going to. I thought, when you look at his upper body, it looks like he's going to volley it, but his left leg, his left knee is already up, so he might, even control it with his left knee. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think that the player in blue will play it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you, Alain. That's my view as well. So, if we're going to do it on a vote basis, then we take Kieran out. And that's where the ball would be, in the sort of middle of us all, and on with Ari and Alain's still touching sort of the ball. How do we all feel about that?
Yeah, I like it.
I think it's better as an average. It's clustered right round where the majority of us are.
Yeah. And more importantly, Kieran.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. I mean, the five of you seem to be very close to where that average is, so that's where you all are. There's definitely disagreement about whether the player in red is going to play the ball first or not. So I think that's a fair average where you've got it.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Thanks, judges. If you're all happy with this selection, Matt, please can you click submit? Thanks, judges. The selected coordinates are 1552606. These coordinates will now be passed to Wilkins Kennedy to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform best of the best. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.